The year 2024 marked a turning point in human space exploration, but not for the reasons NASA wants you to believe. Behind the carefully orchestrated public missions and press conferences, a shadow operation has been unfolding on the lunar surface that defies every official explanation. Classified footage obtained through anonymous sources within the aerospace industry reveals construction activities at the proposed Artemis Base Camp locations that go far beyond anything described in public documents. These aren't the research, facilities, and scientific laboratories that have been promised to taxpayers around the world. Instead, what emerges from this evidence is a picture of humanity preparing for something catastrophic, something that requires the most remote and protected location our species can access. The leaked documents show that construction timelines for lunar installations have been accelerated dramatically from their original 2030 target date. Internal memos suggest that certain aspects of the base construction are now classified under the highest levels of national security protocols, with contractors required to sign agreements that carry severe criminal penalties for disclosure. The footage shows massive excavation equipment that has never been publicly acknowledged, digging deep into the lunar regolith to create what can only be described as underground fortress complexes. These structures feature reinforced walls designed to withstand impacts that would be impossible on Earth's surface, suggesting preparation for threats that could rain down from space itself. The scale of these operations indicates a level of urgency and resource commitment that contradicts every public statement about gradual, scientific lunar exploration. Analysis of the construction materials being transported to these sites reveals another disturbing pattern. Standard lunar habitat modules require specific materials for life support and research capabilities, but the manifests obtained through insider sources show massive quantities of materials that serve no apparent scientific purpose. Heavy-duty radiation shielding in quantities that exceed normal requirements by orders of magnitude. Emergency life support systems designed for populations far larger than any planned research crews. And communication equipment with capabilities that suggest preparation for total isolation from Earth. The implications become even more ominous when cross-referenced with recent changes in asteroid tracking protocols and the mysterious acceleration of certain planetary defense programs that have received minimal public attention. Despite receiving massive funding increases, the timing of these construction activities coincides perfectly with the discovery and subsequent classification changes surrounding asteroid 2024 Year 4, a near-Earth object that initially carried concerning impact probabilities for December 2032, while NASA has publicly stated that updated observations have reduced the threat level significantly. Internal communication suggests a very different story. The leaked footage shows installation of detection and tracking equipment on the lunar surface that far exceeds what would be necessary for standard astronomical observations. These systems appear designed to monitor multiple potential threats simultaneously, with capabilities that suggest preparation for scenarios involving not just single asteroid impacts, but potentially multiple cosmic events occurring in rapid succession. The positioning of these installations across different lunar locations indicates a comprehensive early warning network being established in secret. Perhaps most disturbing are the human resources documents that have surfaced alongside the construction. Footage. Personnel assignments for lunar operations show recruitment patterns that prioritize individuals with specific skill sets, rarely needed for scientific research missions. Emergency medical personnel trained in mass casualty scenarios. Communication specialists with expertise in maintaining operations during global infrastructure collapse. And engineers with backgrounds in closed system survival technologies are being fast-tracked through clearance processes that typically take months or years. The psychological profiles required for these positions emphasize resilience under extreme stress and ability to function in isolation for extended periods, characteristics that align more with survival mission parameters than scientific exploration. Objectives. The technological capabilities being installed at these lunar Sites represent advances that have never been publicly acknowledged by any space agency. Footage shows power generation systems with capacity ratings that exceed the needs of any known research facility by massive margins, suggesting preparation for operations that would require enormous energy consumption over extended periods. Water extraction and recycling systems show redundancy levels that indicate planning for populations much larger than any announced crew sizes, with backup systems for the backup systems that suggest preparation for scenarios where failure is not an option. The agricultural modules being constructed feature containment protocols and genetic material storage capabilities that look more like Noah's Ark preparations than scientific experiments. International cooperation on these projects reveals another layer of the hidden agenda behind lunar base construction. Documents show coordination between space agencies that officially have no formal collaboration agreements, with resource sharing and joint construction efforts that bypass normal diplomatic channels. Russian, Chinese, European, and American assets are being integrated into these lunar facilities in ways that suggest a common understanding of threats that transcends normal geopolitical tensions. The speed at which these traditionally competitive nations have aligned their lunar construction efforts indicates shared intelligence about cosmic threats that has not been disclosed to the public. This unprecedented cooperation suggests that whatever is driving these preparations is significant enough to override national security concerns that have historically prevented such collaboration. The evidence becomes even more compelling when examined alongside recent changes in Earth-based emergency preparedness protocols. Government agencies worldwide have quietly updated disaster response plans to include scenarios that were previously considered purely theoretical. Mass evacuation procedures for entire metropolitan areas, resource allocation strategies for extended periods of global infrastructure disruption, and communication protocols designed to function during electromagnetic interference events have all been revised within the same timeframe as the accelerated lunar construction. The correlation between these terrestrial preparations and the secret lunar installations suggests a coordinated response to threats that could affect both Earth and space-based operations. Simultaneously, analysis of the financial flows supporting these operations reveals funding mechanisms that operate outside normal budget oversight processes. Black budget allocations that dwarf the official NASA budget have been identified flowing through classified programs with names that provide no indication of their true purpose. Private aerospace contractors are receiving payments for services that don't correspond to any publicly acknowledged projects, with contract terms that include unusual liability protections for scenarios involving force majeure events of cosmic origin. The insurance policies taken out by major space contractors have been modified to include coverage for losses due to extraterrestrial impact events and solar radiation emergencies, suggesting industry-wide preparation for specific types of cosmic disasters. The psychological preparation aspects of these lunar installations provide perhaps the most chilling evidence of their true purpose. Facility designs include features that serve no apparent function for scientific missions, but make perfect sense for long-term survival scenarios. Recreational facilities designed to maintain mental health during extended isolation, storage areas for cultural preservation materials, including art, literature, and historical records, and communication systems designed to maintain contact with isolated human populations scattered across multiple locations. The lunar installations appear designed not just as research facilities or emergency shelters, but as preservation centers for human civilization itself. The implications suggest preparation for scenarios where Earth's surface might become uninhabitable for extended periods, requiring space-based facilities to maintain the continuity of human culture and knowledge. Recent changes in astronaut training programs provide additional confirmation of these preparations. Training modules now include scenarios that were previously considered purely hypothetical, including extended isolation operations, resource scarcity management, and decision-making. protocols for situations where communication with Earth is impossible, psychological evaluations for lunar mission candidates. Now emphasize traits that would be essential for survival leadership rather than scientific research capabilities. The selection criteria have shifted to prioritize individuals who could function effectively as community leaders in isolated, high-stress environments rather than specialists in particular research fields. These changes suggest that the true mission of lunar installations involves human survival and civilization preservation rather than scientific advancement. The construction timeline acceleration becomes even more significant when viewed alongside recent developments in asteroid detection and tracking capabilities. While public attention has focused on the reduced threat assessment for asteroid 2024 Year 4, classified documents suggest that this particular object may be only one component of a larger cosmic threat scenario. Multiple detection systems are being deployed to monitor not just near-Earth asteroids, but also long-period comets, solar activity patterns, and deep space objects that could pose threats on timescales ranging from years to decades. The investment in these monitoring capabilities suggests preparation for a complex threat environment rather than response to any single identified object. The evidence points to a reality that differs dramatically from official narratives about peaceful space exploration and scientific advancement. Instead, what emerges is a picture of humanity's leadership making desperate preparations for cosmic threats that could fundamentally alter or end human civilization as we know it. The lunar installations being constructed in secret represent not just emergency shelters or research facilities, but potentially the foundation for human civilization's continuation beyond Earth. The urgency driving these preparations, the massive resource commitments involved, and the unprecedented international cooperation all point to shared knowledge of threats that require the most extreme preparations possible. As this evidence continues to surface despite efforts to maintain secrecy, the questions become unavoidable. What cosmic threats have been identified that require such drastic preparations? How imminent are these threats? And why has the public been kept in the dark about preparations that could determine humanity's survival? The leaked footage and classified documents present a compelling case that the official narrative about gradual, scientific lunar exploration masks a far more urgent mission to establish human civilization's backup plan before time runs out. The race to complete these lunar installations may literally be a race to save human civilization itself, with completion deadlines that reflect cosmic rather than political timelines. The implications for every person on Earth are staggering. And the secrecy surrounding these preparations raises fundamental questions about democracy, transparency, and the right of humanity to know about threats to its own survival. As more evidence surfaces, it becomes clear that we are living through a pivotal moment in human history, where decisions made in secret could determine whether our species survives. The cosmic challenges that may be approaching faster than anyone imagines.